Tune into this to watch me wittering on about this and that. You want to see more of this, and other such exciting stuff. More safety goggles required. It's coming, I promise. So I'm curious if anyone knows anything about silencing exhausts. I only really have experience in making them louder. How much of it's done by the baffles, and how much of it is done by the actual kind of silencer itself, i.e. the expansion to the pipe? The reason I ask is because these baffles, these boys, came out of here. See, they fit in nicely in there. So I took them out because it was a little bit quiet, honestly. But so, you know, does that help silence it, or does this help silence it? Obviously it's a bit of both, but which makes the biggest difference? Because I know when we started up the triple without anything, it was ridiculously loud. So I'm just wondering what does what. Anyone help? I've also been looking at covering up the wiring, the loom, etc., going all the way down a frame with some mesh type ideas, fine mesh, sheet metal with various sized weight saving holes. Just drained the gas tank in here, so it's a bit whiffy from a gas point of view. But apparently not flammable. The gas isn't very friendly towards cheap paint. Hopefully it's a little bit more friendly towards this baby over here, which is where I put it, because she was empty, and apparently Ducatis hold less than MVAgustas, because a full-ish tank of the Augusta brimmed the Duke. I've started sanding down the tank, and I've been using one of these. I love these actually. They're kind of a spongy block. This is quite a coarse grade to start with, because there's plenty of layers of paint here, and you can see there, this little guy here, there's a little dent in the tank which I'm going to have to build up with a bit of Bondo. But you can tell, this is the beauty of sanding stuff down, you can tell where the low spots are, because apart from feeling it, you've got all the layers of paint, including the blue, still there, even though I've hit bare metal either side. So that's a good indication. And honestly, don't be afraid of doing paint yourself. It's quite achievable to get a good finish. To get an excellent finish is something else, but this is never going to be a show bike, so I'm more than happy and more than confident to do it myself. I did all the black on this Bel Air, and like I say, it's not show quality, but it does the job. It is hours of work though, but that's what saves you money, because if somebody else is doing it, you're paying for their expert time. Having got it there or thereabouts, I'm building up several coats of primer, which also has a little bit of what's it called, paint and primer, a little bit of filler in it anyway. And the good thing about living in Arizona is that it takes about 10 minutes to dry. gloves. Enough sparks for you? Obviously not finished, but the original battery tray comes back into use, fits neatly in between those two bits of the frame and just under there. So get some way of bolting it to the frame now. Speedo mount version 2, already kind of halfway there. So what we've got here is a paper template that I made out of the Speedo itself and drawn around that where it needs to be. So many options as to how to cut this. So as per normal, going to start with cutting the least, giving me other options if I don't like things as I go along. That works. From just a position point of view, obviously the angle would be slightly more forward at the top to suit the view of the rider. And from the front, that looks horrible. So that's a crappy idea. You may have realised by now that I like flitting from one part of the project to another, and there's a good reason for that. I work the same way. It keeps your interest up and it keeps the project from stalling, because if you just concentrate on one area and you've got to get something done before you can move ahead, there's plenty of other bits of the project that you can focus on while that's happening. Now I'm going to mark the drill holes for the seat where it's going to mount on the front, and I'm going to do it by eye because obviously that leaves plenty of scope for getting it wrong. So about there, and about there. Lovely. So that one's going to be further back. My favourite drill bits in this lovely little case, and there they are. The screw fits through perfectly. It's not going to be long enough to reach the seat, but same thread, longer screw. And once I've worked out the screw length, get a spacer in there as well to bulk it up, give it some support, then I can work out where I'm going to drill these holes in the back. Yes, I'm actually going to drill them through the seat, put some coach bolts that go into that lovely little cross member there. So I'm about to drill through the seat. Again, you think I'm crazy, but I'm going to get the whole thing recovered by a proper upholsterer. So I've marked it up, coming through the mounts I made in the frame. And I'm just going to use this, which is a very special tool. This is my granddad's bradawl. And I got that idea from the upholstery that I did in the Bel Air, actually. Although it's a totally different kettle of fish. Beautiful, fits perfectly. And then that's what it'll look like on top, actually. In terms of jiggling various aspects of the project, the seat is definitely going to a professional upholsterer because it's way beyond my capability. And so I'm just marking it up. There's the seat mount at the front that we've already looked at. Those at the back are now redundant, and these are the new seat mounts that those coach bolts are going to go through. So that's all marked up, ready to go to him. And again, way in advance from when I need it, so there's no rush. Give the guy plenty of time to do the job properly. So next time we're going to be doing some more painting, because I love painting, and we put it all together, even though it's just primered, to see what it's actually going to look like, which is a little bit different from the visuals. And what else are we doing? The headlight mount, is starting to come together, and the speedo mount. Got some much better ideas for those. So thanks for watching this episode, and do tune in again next week, and please subscribe to the channel. See you soon.